Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your prophetic purpose pusher, Pastor D. We've been having some dynamic conversations at the table. We have talked about marriage and we've talked about resingled. It's a new word. If you don't know it, now you know it. And we are now talking about single, saved, sanctified, satisfied. And we're going to continue the conversation. But before we do, can I ask you to call a friend, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the like button, so we can kind of explore dynamics, explore issues, explore things that are left on the table. Let's just talk about issues that people won't talk about. Now, let's set the record straight. When we're doing safe space, the name denotes the space, safe space. We're not bashing, we're not outing, we're not trying to we're not trying to sensationalize people's lives. We do everything with honor. Nonetheless, nevertheless, people are humans and they have human condition. And the human condition is we're either single, divorced, or we're married. Widowed. We are humans. And in our humanity, we are going to be challenged with different aspects of life. And so different people are in different phases of their lives. So today, we're going to continue the conversation with one of my spiritual daughter, India Izel. And just to kind of get you updated, she talked about that she was born in Ohio and about 7-ish, 8-ish came to North Carolina and Charlotte. We talked about identity, her identity, having an identity, not having a father's identity, and the struggles that comes with the difficulties, the challenges of not being identified and not taking on the identity of a father. And we also talked about her going to school and dating. And we know that dating is gathering data. And she dated, and we skimmed around the topics because sometimes when we're at the table, we want to present our best selves. But it's one thing that I know about the Lord is that the reason we have a testimony is because we passed the test. The reason we have a testimony is because of the blood factor. The reason we have a testimony is to shout about the goodness of the Lord. And so, in spite of the meanderings, the wonderings, the oops, the rebellion, it was a mistake, I didn't know, ignorance, whatever it is, the grace factor is always at the table. So I'm going to bring India in, let her introduce herself, and we're going to continue. For those that are single, young, saved, sanctified, satisfied, and think they're in a holding pattern, we're going to explore what today the singles are facing. India, welcome to the table.
Thank you for having me back and again. My name is India Ezel, and it's an honor, pleasure, privilege to be here.
Well, thank you. India, we talked about you and having a relationship, and you were excited that this guy was older than you, which was about 1 or 2 years. But when you're younger, I mean, older is like anybody 1/2 a year older than you is like an older guy. And you found out that you worked together, you didn't start dating until you guys were not in the same workplace and dated for about a year. He loved you, asked you to marry him. You turned it down. That's interesting. And then to catch up on the conversation, I was in tune, that he went back to his old girlfriend and you had the harassment and the jockeying of position of this guy having two ladies. You thought you were the choice lady because he asked you to marry him. You turned him down. And you're under the impression that he loves you because he asked you to marry him. But yet he was peeping and hiding and slipping and sliding, more than sliding because he hit a home run and now she's pregnant. She's pregnant and she got a hold of your number, confronted you, and you were like, okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So pick up the conversation. You're confronted by somebody you don't know that you thought was history. Yet still, you're emotionally vested in a relationship, pretty, young, vibrant, think you have it going on. But here comes the shoe falling. Talk to me about that at the point when you found out that he's two-timing you, stepping out on you, and you found out you're not really his prize, the prize.
Can I say this? Is that okay?
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. We'll save space.
I was pissed.
Okay, that's good. That's honesty.
But because I don't like disrespect, and I don't like.
Wait, let's deal with the word. So you were peeved, right? I'm the pastor, so I got to be proper. No. So you were, let's not do wordplays. You were angry.
Yeah.
Would you say you were disappointed?
Yes.
Would you say that you were let down?
Yes.
Would you say that, talk to me about the emotions, describe at that point. I understand now you're looking back at it and you're saved, and we know you're saved, and it's not going to take away from your sanctified look. What I'm saying is emotionally, because to be with someone, you have made some banking, you have made some deposit emotionally. Talk to me about this guy asked you to marry him. You think you're in the driver's seat. You said no, but you want to keep him. You kept him.
I did. I didn't even think about it like that.
That's
what
why
I
at the
did.
table.
I did keep him.
Wait, did he keep you or you kept him?
I'd say I kept him.
How you kept him when he's playing?
Well, I mean, to me, I kept him. I guess for
So
him, that's
you thought that you kept him.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See, you thought you're in the driver's seat because you it. I mean, and you are. You it in his eyes, in everything about you denotes like, okay, I have this guy eating out of my hand. I'm younger. I got it going on. He's falling over me. Yet he has a secret rendezvous, a public secret rendezvous with his past girlfriend, and she is pregnant. Yet he wants to marry you. Yes.
Yeah, I was peeved. The better way of saying it. I guess truly disappointed in a sense because you're in a relationship with someone, and like you said, you're vested on some level. So it's like, how can you want to be with me, but then this happens? How did this happen? When did this happen? Like, when did you have time?
He slept with her
for this? Yes. Like
That's
how? When? So yeah, I was disappointed. And foolishly, a part of me was still wanting to be with him, but again,
talk to me about that part of you. So, see, and that's what happens to a lot of young women. So a part of you was attached emotionally to him. So in spite of the discovery and the evidence, a part of you wanted to stay. Talk to me about that part of you.
It's crazy because honestly, until this moment, I didn't even process it that way. But the truth is, I wanted to be there because if I didn't, I would have left a long time ago. But I stayed. Probably more, I guess, I air quote, the love that you feel like or think that you're getting, even when it's not the right love that you should be getting. Sometimes you hold on to things.
Say that again.
Sometimes we get the love that we think we want, need, or deserve, but it's really not. And so, but because we're getting some type of love, we hang on to it, even though it's not the right kind of love, even though it's not the love that truly says that I love you, that I'm in this for you. The true love that gives, because that wasn't the love that gave. That was the love that stepped out and cheated. And I think after, the continual aggression that the young woman kept presenting towards me.
Okay, wait a minute. So, here you are, beautiful, young, vivacious. I mean, having your future in front of you.
Mhm.
Sure, you think you discovered that this guy has a total different relationship outside of you.
Mhm.
She's pregnant, and part of you is hanging on
Mhm.
because you're thinking you can change him.
Mhm.
You're thinking that he loves you more. You're thinking that what?
There was a part of me that thought that I could change him. I thought that my light or my goodness or my love or whatever it was that I thought or felt like I was giving would have been enough to change his behavior, change his mindset, change who he was as a person. And I mean, you can't change anybody unless they want to be changed.
So now, this guy is the king. We're gonna call him king, right? We don't know his name, and disclaimer: we're not calling his name. That's the past. So this guy is in the king's position.
Mhm.
He has you, and he's feeding you what you think you need, which is what you think you need is that love, and he's feeding her. Now she now is territorial,
Mhm.
and she's defending her territory, and now she's aggressing on you. And talk to me about the process. There's two ladies pit against each other,
Mhm.
and the king wants proclaiming his love still for you. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, she would call, which I thought was rude. I clearly was aware of her, and clearly she was aware of me, right? But I knew
And you
her.
were okay with that.
Well, no, I knew her as in the past. I didn't realize that it was still a thing until she became pregnant. So when I realized that she was pregnant, even though I in my mind, I didn't think that he stepped out. In my mind, I thought, oh well, this happened before our relationship.
Oh, so you created his excuse for him
Right.
out
Yes.
because you wanted it so bad,
Yes.
like most women do.
Yes.
He loves me. Oops, it's a mistake.
Mhm.
Oops, he didn't mean it.
Mhm.
Oops, my love can win him.
Mhm.
I'll convince him that it's me he wants.
Mhm.
Continue.
Yeah, so in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, the child didn't ask to be here. I guess I can hold on, or I guess I can stick this out. But again, she would call like, oh, that's my man, that's my car.
You're in his car.
Say that again.
You're in his car.
Yes,
Her car.
somebody's car.
Okay.
I thought it was his car.
So you're
She said
riding
it was her
around
car.
in
So
her car.
it's somebody's car. It wasn't mine.
So wait a minute. Wait. So you are riding around in her car and she is stating her ownership.
Mhm.
It's my man,
Mhm.
my car, and I'm letting you know you the side chick.
Mhm.
How did it feel to be labeled as a side chick since you thought you were the main squeeze? Never thought about that, did you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I know. I said because most often when our value system
Mhm.
has not been shaped or molded
Mhm.
properly, we create this distorted image of what acceptance, value,
Mhm.
and love looks like. Because again, the identification process was interrupted
Mhm.
when you didn't have that male figure,
Mhm.
that fathering affirmation that you're valuable and you don't have to settle. And oftentimes we don't know that that has a great bearing in how we choose a man, stay with a man, and how we perform. Now somebody might be out there saying, oh, my daddy was there. And I understand that, but the identification process, when it's interrupted, creates a false, a pseudo self-image. And so we start performing. So here you are, she's pregnant, she's aggressive. The script has been flipped because she's not in the past. She's a very present girl. And it's her car. And he gave permission for her to harass you by giving her access to your number. So now you're being harassed. And now you being the main thing is not a thing. Talk to me about the decision.
We were going somewhere, and
After she's pregnant.
Yes.
Okay.
And she called me while we were together.
Was he supporting you, taking care of you financially? What was the financial attachment? Why? Is it an emotional attachment? Why you didn't break it up? Or a financial attachment, or both?
It was emotional.
Emotional. Okay. So you're driving in her car.
Yes.
That he's driving.
Yes. And I don't know where we were going, but I remember she called me while I was with him, and I said to him, you should have dealt with this. This is something that you should have stepped in and set boundaries. And you didn't set boundaries. And I don't like someone calling me who shouldn't have access to my information, shouldn't have access to me. This is not the first time it's happened. And she's, in my opinion, disrespecting me. I gotta let you go. Like, I can't do this anymore. I gotta let you go.
So you are addressing her and not him, because everything you just said was about her. But when did you address him, like your two-timer?
Oh, no, it was that same day. So she called me.
Okay, I need to hear about that, because you're saying her, and
Oh,
you're putting the responsibility on her. She's looking for love just like
Right.
you. She's thinking she's the main thing.
mhm.
She's thinking she's a +1, but now it's +2.
Yeah.
So now it's 3 people. So we don't have a +1. We got a 3. If we do the math, it's 3 people, right? And it can only be 2 people in a relationship. When did you address him, not the outside influence, but him and his violation? Because oftentimes
Mhm.
we try to address the other person, but we don't address the main perpetrator.
Well, I addressed her because she called my phone.
Okay.
So that
Well,
was.
she wasn't there, but
She wasn't, yes. So that moment in the car, I told her, I said, stop calling me.
Yeah.
This is disrespectful. I don't know what y'all got going on, but that shouldn't have anything to do with me. I told you before to stop calling me. You haven't done that. This is it. Like, don't call me again. And as soon as I hung up that conversation with her, I said to him, your ex-girl, your current, whatever she is, she keeps calling me.
she's
And
not
this is-
ex. She's pregnant.
Right, pregnant and present.
She's pregnant in the present, and you were with him for a year.
Mhm.
So do the math.
Yeah.
Takes 9 months to be pregnant and have a baby.
Mhm.
You're with him 9 months, so she was at every present help.
She
Per.
was. And I told him, I said, I can't. This is it. Like, I would have stayed, but I can't. Why I would have stayed, I have no idea. But I said, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. And I broke up with him literally like that moment. He had to take me home, and that was it.
Okay, and so you just severed it.
I did.
Okay, did he try to pursue you, convince you, cry, beg, put on an act, perform, or just accepted it because he was relieved?
That's a great question.
That's why I
In
have a great
hindsight-
question.
I can't even, it could have been relief in a sense, because when I said I was done. Like, I accepted no phone calls, no text messages, no hanging out, no talking, no nothing. Like, done is done. And I can't necessarily recall him calling or texting after the fact. So for him, it could have been relief that, hey, she didn't know, now she know, and it's finally over. I don't have to, juggle 2 relationships. I don't know what it was for him, but I had to let that go.
Okay, so you let that go. Talk to me about, because you're vested, your emotion is, you've deposited some emotion.
Mhm.
How long did you mourn the relationship? Did you allow yourself to be healed, or did you just pushed it under the rug and just forged ahead?
I think I just pushed it under the rug and forged ahead. I didn't date for a few years after that. I kind of kept to myself. I mean, you speak or whatever, but not like in a relationship. And I guess because I swept it under the rug, I found myself in a situationship,
Okay.
some years later.
Okay.
Um,
So we're making up words.
Yes.
Situationship.
a situationship is when you're with somebody, but you haven't officially called it a relationship,
A
but you're sleeping
situa-
around. So it's a situationship.
We're making words up at this table. We are re-single situationship. You heard it first at the table. Safe space. Situationship.
Yeah.
Situationship is what?
It was a convenient situationship. It wasn't a relationship, but it was a situationship.
Explain, expound.
So at this time, my family and I had gotten evicted from our home.
Okay.
So tight place, right?
Yes.
You don't really know where you're going or what you're gonna do next.
Yes.
And the guy was someone from high school, so it wasn't a complete stranger. Like I knew who he was.
Yes.
And he helped me move. And at the time I didn't have a car. Me and my sister were sharing a car, but when we got evicted, she took the car. So he was taking me back and forth to work. So it was a situation. It was convenient for me and it was convenient for him.
Well, so it's a convenient relationship. You heard it first here. This is important. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for the safe space. I've never heard that word before. Situationship, relationship of convenience. Both parties didn't commit, but are vested.
Mhm.
He's doing things for you,
Mhm.
and you're accepting the things he's doing for you. Continue.
So I didn't have a car. He was taking me back and forth to work because I needed a ride. And it was convenient. He had kids, so I was helping him.
Okay, you got me there in hello. You got me in hello. You got me there in hello. Okay, so wait.
Wait from one drama to another.
It's good. It's good, and it's authentic and it's sincere, and I love it because the Holy Spirit is just so amazing. So you're in a situationship.
Mhm.
I love it. Situationship. You got kids. You got a significant other with kids.
Mhm.
Okay, so.
Well, one of the baby mamas think that they still own him.
Oh wait.
But they weren't together.
Okay, so he have
Two daughters, two different baby mamas.
Okay.
I know that sounds.
No. It's okay. It's your history.
Yes, ma'am.
It's your history, and it's a part of your page. And we're not tearing out any pages.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to skim over the pages. So here you are in a situationship, a guy with two kids with another baby mother attached, subliminally, thinking but he's helping you out, and you love the convenience. Okay.
Yeah, because it was a hard time, again, being evicted, right? I'd never been evicted before. So the trauma of that and feeling like, okay, now I'm in this place by myself. Because prior to that, me and my sister, my twin, my best friend, we had gotten into a disagreement. And it was the first disagreement that we've ever had that lasted for a long time. And so we weren't talking to each other.
So how long did that twin situation happen? So was your mom involved, or both of you were sharing an apartment and both of you got evicted, or mom and you?
No, mom and all of my sisters.
Okay, so
So
the
my
family.
Yes, ma'am. So me, my twin, and my mom. I can't really remember if my mom. I feel like she went back home to Cleveland.
Okay.
And I moved in with a coworker.
Okay.
And then my sister, I think she moved in with like a friend or somebody else.
Okay.
And so
y'all are
the family's
displaced.
apart.
Yeah,
Yes.
displaced.
And then me and her aren't communicating. And I feel like I don't have any help. I feel like, I'm by myself. That's why I say situate a relationship based on convenience. And so for him, I would help him with his daughters, when they're there, whatever, hang out, cook or whatever. And then, because I would spend time with him and work, and then that was pretty much my time or whatever.
So wait a minute. So he's taking you to work, and you are now a surrogate? You are now mama figure with his kids? Because now he's taking you to work, and you're in a situationship, and now you are helping him with his kids?
They didn't live with him permanently, so just when they would come over sometimes.
So you are surrogate when he comes. When the kids come for his visitation, you stepped in the mother role?
Yes.
Okay, so you're pseudo wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so that relationship, you know, like I said, it was a difficult time in my life. I'm still know that I need to be in the church, but not really going, you know, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
His mom and his dad goes every Sunday. So I remember we went to church with them a few times. And I remember feeling like I got to get out of this space.
Okay. Because you're pseudo wife.
Yes.
Situationship is pseudo.
Yes.
Okay, so you're pseudo, you're playing house. You're not living with him, but you're visiting. You are filling the role of mama wife. Okay, but it's situationship. Okay. And
but he asked me if I wanted to go to church with him and his family. I told him yes. And so I remember just sitting in a service with them one day and just feeling like, how did I get here? And how do I get out of here? And knowing and believing and trusting that the Lord would do it, but not knowing how and when.
Okay.
And feeling like I needed to get out of here because never being in that place before.
Okay.
In a relationship that's not a real relationship, that's not real love.
Okay.
Why
do you say it's not real love?
Because I didn't love him.
Okay.
I mean, I cared about him, but I didn't love him.
Okay.
It was based off convenience. It was, well, you doing this for me, so I'm gonna do this for you because it's working out for both of us right now. And yeah, it was just convenience. So it wasn't love. And just, I don't know, the weight of living with a stranger, because I lived with my coworker, but then she put me out. Okay. She said, you know, you're running up my bills, which wasn't true, but she put me out. So then I went from that to, I found this is back when Craigslist was a thing, and I found a roommate on Craigslist. And so now I have a roommate with somebody that I don't know, and then, you know, the roommate. The ad said that it was a college student looking for another college student to, you know, move in or whatever. Her mom lived in California. She was paying the bills, but she wasn't paying the bills. I found out the roommate's best friend told me, you know, y'all getting evicted. And I said, what? And he said,
wait.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. I mean, this is good. So, no, and again, I like it because we're talking about single, safe, satisfied. And sanctified. And so you're talking about your story before you got to this place. And so evicted one time, family, unhealed trauma and relationship, then situationship, relationship, pseudo wife, you roommate put you out. I'm just showing you the thread, the commonality, the thread that runs through the story. And then you now desperate went on this ad space and got a roommate only to find out that that's not even what it is. And it's a lie. So now you find yourself in this situation where this roommate and they're getting ready to be evicted again.
Yes, again. So I didn't know. It took her friend. He told me, I said, what do you mean? He said, well, they're not paying the bills. You know, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. Like, you, if I were you, I would find a new place to stay. So I was, like I said, I was sitting in church like, how did I get here? And how do I move on from here? Because, you know, clearly my space is not safe. I don't really have a home now anymore. Don't know where I'm going to go. Clearly, if I could afford a place on my own, I would have gotten one. I couldn't, you know, wasn't making much money at the time. So I think how I got out of that, another one of my high school best friends called me. We keep in touch, and he asked me what was going on, and I told him the truth of what was happening, and not because I expected him to save me, but because we were friends. And I guess he told his mother, he told his mom what was happening, and he told me, Indy. He called me Indy. He said, Indy, anywhere to go, but my mom said that you can come and stay with us. I I know.
No. I'm laughing because I'm not making light of your
Mhm.
story because I'm honoring your story. But again,
Mhm.
the thread of unhealed trauma,
Mhm.
unhealed hurt,
Mhm.
identification.
Mhm.
And so you're moving from one situation to another situation, and they are getting even more bizarre
Mhm.
only because you're displaced,
Mhm.
only because you haven't done your work.
Mhm.
And so now a high school friend who called you Indy invited you, asked the mom, and so you're living with your high school friend and his mother?
Yes.
Okay.
So he was a college student, so he
Okay.
would come home during the summers and the winters.
Okay.
And so he wasn't there most of the time, but
Okay.
he would come home. But
But you have that other
no. So, sorry, let me go back.
Yes.
So when I got displaced, with the girl and her mom, whatever they had going on, I left that relationship behind.
Okay. But it was not a real relationship.
No, that situationship.
Okay, so
I
you
let
left
it
that behind.
Mhm.
Okay.
I stopped communicating. When my best friend came to get me, I let go of her, the girl, the roommate. I dropped her phone number. I dropped the situationship phone number. I didn't call. I didn't text. He didn't call. He didn't text. I let it be what it was. It was just
Dissolved.
yes,
Okay.
dissolved. And I moved in with my best friend and his mom. I stayed there for 3 years, and it became a safe space though for me.
Okay, so safe space. Were you in a relationship with your best friend? So this was a neutral relationship. He was away in college. This is your best friend. This is a guy. There's a platonic relationship. There's nothing sexual, nothing, every time you come, just pay me, slide me something.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
No.
Break me off a piece.
Nope.
None of that. No.
We have been genuine friends. We still talk today. We have been genuine friends.
Okay, so the lines weren't blurred, and
No.
he did never cross the
No.
line. Okay, that's good news. And so, and the mom.
Yes.
So the mom now took you in,
Mhm.
and so now you have a mother figure that you've been looking for.
I wasn't looking for a mother figure because
Your mom is not there.
she's not.
Okay, so
Well, I didn't
sometimes
think
we
that I
don't.
was looking
Okay.
for a mother figure.
Okay.
But she did create a safe space. She allowed me to stay there. She said, Indy, you need to get yourself together. You need to get a job. You need to get a car. Just telling me like I need to get myself together. I started going to the church that she was going to.
Okay.
So it was a safe space. It was 3 years, but it was a safe space for me to work on establishing me.
Okay.
And I believe that there was some healing that took place. I mean, I didn't go through therapy or anything like that, but I believe that sometimes just sitting under the word and being around people that love you helps heal.
Okay.
It doesn't do all the work, but it does some of the work.
Okay.
And that became, like I said, a safe space for me. So that was for 3 years. And I remember at that point, I was working at the childcare center. Excuse me. I was working at the childcare center, and now I'm going to church. Now I'm like, okay, Lord, you're here.
No situationship.
No relationship.
No sharing.
I'm not dating.
No, you're not dating. You've settled that issue.
Yes.
So now you recommitted your life to the Lord.
Yes.
Your friend who's a male's mother is filling in some roles for you, and you're healing, and you have a job, and now you have a car.
Yes, she co-signed a car for me.
Oh, and so she co-signed, again, a mother figure and helpers along the way. And she now co-signed for a car. So now you have a car, you have a job, you're not dating, you're going to church. Continue your story.
Yeah, so I'm going to church. I'm starting to read my word for myself and just trying to understand, the things that I was reading. Because I read a lot of the New Testament back then, and mostly the four Gospels. So that's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John for those out there. That's really kind of where I stayed. Don't really know why, but that's really kind of where I stayed. And I remember I would talk to the Lord every day on my way to work, and I would, sometimes I would pray, sometimes I would talk. I would ask him questions. It's funny because a lot of the questions and the conversations that I had with the Lord then, he shows and he reminds me like now.
Okay.
Or like even like he just reminds me of things that I've said, things that I've prayed, things that me and him talked about. And so I was going to work this one morning, and I remember saying, you know what, Lord, is this it for me? You know, I'm living in a home with my best friend's mom. And, you know, that's cool, but is this it? I'm working a job and I'm making, you know, better money, but it's still not enough to fully support myself because I'm still staying with someone else. You know, I said, I'm reading my Bible and I can see how in the New Testament you have the disciples and they're doing this work for the Lord. And people are being healed and like people eyes are being opened and all these things that I see that the word is telling me, but I'm not seeing it in real life. So I said, is this it for me? Like, is this it for my life? Is this it for me spiritually? Like, I'm not married. Like, is all of this it for me? Because if it is, I will be okay with this being me, my life for the rest of my life. But if this is not it, you have to move. You have to do something because what I see in this Bible is not what I'm seeing in my real life.
Okay, so in your real life, so you stayed with your best friend's mom for 3 years.
Mhm.
How did you move from there? Now that you're reading the Bible, your eyes are being open, you're having some intimacy with the Lord,
Mhm.
you're having your own conversation. When did you move from this space and what transpired and where did you go?
I heard the Lord say go one day.
Okay,
Clear as day. I'd never heard him like that before.
but
It
go
was-
where? Go, but go where?
So prior to that,
Okay,
and I mean like days before that, I was a part of a deliverance service.
okay,
And it was after that. Literally
okay.
the day-
So you went through deliverance.
Yes.
Okay, so somebody led you through deliverance,
Yes.
and you believe you were delivered,
Yes.
and the Lord says, "Go now."
Mhm.
So now you're delivered. Lord said, "Go now," but where did the Lord send you or place you?
At Charlotte Emmanuel Church of All Nations.
But what about your living situation?
I left living there and I moved in with a friend temporarily because I was saving so that I could get an apartment on my own. So when I left, I stayed with a friend for like 3 months maybe,
Mhm.
and I got an apartment
Okay.
with a friend.
Okay, so
Mhm.
now you went through deliverance. Praise the Lord for deliverance. And so now you have your apartment. So now you're living on your own.
Mhm.
You're living in the Word. You are saved.
Mhm.
You are single.
Mhm.
Trauma has not been dealt with, but you're delivered.
Mhm.
And talk to me. So now move me into current. So because when I met you, that was not your situation. So talk to me.
Yes, so I had a roommate and then after the lease was up, that was a year lease. After the lease was up, she decided that she wanted to get her own place. So that's how I ended up moving in.
No names.
Yes.
Okay. And so you move in with somebody else, another family.
Yes.
Okay, so you only had your own space for a year.
Hmm.
You enjoyed that freedom.
I did.
And now the roommate doesn't want to move forward, so you end up in somebody else's space.
Mhm.
How was that living in somebody's space? Because you move from independence now. You're delivered.
Mhm.
And you move from independence. You still couldn't take care of yourself by yourself, and now you're in another family's home.
Mhm.
How was that?
It was different.
Okay. I mean, it's different because you're moving from independence
Yes.
to interdependence
Mhm.
again.
And I didn't, and it wasn't a plan because prior to her deciding that she didn't want to stay, we were actually talking about renewing our lease and staying together. But I don't know, just out of nowhere, she just said, instead, I'm not. And so I didn't know, again, in that tight situation, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, where I'm gonna go. And, a friend said, temporary, but you can move in here. You'll be responsible for paying bills, like you're an adult, but you can come and stay. So that was also a temporary space because
So you're not
I-
living for free.
no,
So you're not living for free. You're paying rent,
yes,
and you're in a family's home.
yes,
And this is when you came to us.
yes.
Okay, so talk to me about that. You were in that space. you're paying rent, so you're not living for free, and then talk to me.
Um,
But you're delivered. Talk to me. No, you're delivered.
yes, ma'am.
Because there's
Um,
different levels of deliverance, and we need to address these things
Yeah.
because sometimes we think, okay, I'm delivered, I'm good,
Mhm,
right? But this is where we go wrong
mhm,
because, yes, but the reasons we have Christian counseling,
mhm.
I'm putting my plug in.
Yes.
The reasons we have Christian counseling is because we know about the soul
Yes.
and we understand trauma, and deliverance ministry is good.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. Jesus went about healing all that was oppressed of the devil. We get that. But oftentimes we ascribe deliverance in only one aspect,
Mhm. That's
right? In one aspect, like a demon cast out of
true.
you. But after the demon is cast out of you, where did it go? And how do you get your soul refilled with the word? So now you're living with a family, but you're paying your bills,
Mhm.
and then you change ministry.
Mhm.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so I left the old church. I left that, actually, it was a bit of a transition, but I left that church when I heard the Lord say go.
Okay.
So when he said go, I left that church and I left the home that I was living in.
Okay.
And I stayed with, like I said, a friend for 3 months, and then I moved in with another family. Well, no, that's not how that happened, sorry, but that's how that transition started. But then we got to our ministry, See I Can. And there, I remember you said, sit down, sit yourself down. I don't need you guys to do anything. Just dry out.
Yeah, because I said you all are traumatized.
Yes.
I looked at you and I said, you told me that you all are in ministry. And I said, that's good. I said, I don't know where y'all have been,
Yes.
but I said, you're traumatized.
Yes.
And I clearly remember
Mhm.
every Sunday,
Yes.
well, for about 3 or so Sundays, after church, y'all would get the buckets
Mhm.
and do things I didn't know about.
Yes.
I had never seen that in my life. And you guys would say y'all are going through purging and deliverance. And I was like, y'all get this stuff up out of here.
Yes.
Because what we're not doing
Is that.
is that, okay? And you were so sincere
Yes.
because, you know, you're the devil. Well, yeah. And
Sometimes you think you have a devil and you don't know that you don't sometimes.
because you've been told that you got a
Yes.
devil.
Yes.
Hey, I know, we give the devil such props.
Yes.
You know, hello, Mr. Devil.
Yes.
And so you came and you wanted to move, and I'm just telling your story because you're at the table, wanted to move in ministry,
Yeah.
what you call ministry.
Yes.
And I said to you, what?
Sit down.
Sit down,
Dry out.
dry out, and be healed.
Yes.
And let the word heal you.
Yes.
How did that feel? Because you were in ministry and you were already delivered.
It was, I wasn't used to it because even though, I've mentioned in the first story that, I was going to church. But in those churches or in those ministries, I participated. I was either on a dance team, I was on a praise team, or I was teaching.
In a situation is and teaching and doing all that. Yeah. Mhm. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
That's your story.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you came
Mhm.
and the confrontation,
Mhm.
I mean, like the gentle reminder,
Mhm.
not a confrontation, not a showdown.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Yeah.
And when you heard that, since you've been active
Mhm.
in performing and doing
Mhm.
and what we call serving,
Mhm.
how did that make you feel?
I wasn't used to it, and I didn't.
How did it make you feel? Give me an adjective.
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. Why?
I was used to doing.
Okay.
I was used to participating. I was used to being active.
But you're bankrupt.
Yes.
Okay, no money in the bank.
Right.
Okay. And so you came and I said, if I ever see you
with another bucket.
with another bucket doing what I don't know what that is,
Oh, Lord.
we're going to have a problem.
Yes.
Because that is not how the Lord looks.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It was uncomfortable, but I needed it. It was uncomfortable, something I wasn't used to, but I needed it. It allowed me to first understand the place that I was in, right? Because no longer am I in those previous places that I was. And understanding the culture of CICAN and understanding, how the house works and flows. But I can honestly say it was necessary. Like, I'm grateful for somebody saying, sit down. I don't need you to perform. I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to sit and let God do what He's going to do in your life. Um, it was initially uncomfortable, but eventually it was almost like a relief of not having to do anything, of not having to perform, of not having to engage, I guess. And yeah, I thank the Lord for it. Many blessings, many healings, many lessons have been learned in the ministry. God has shown Himself to be God in my life.
So you moved from being traumatized to looking at the trauma,
Mhm.
and you heard the thread. Now that you're telling your story, you're seeing the common thread. Displaced, again, identification, displaced, dismissed, just dissed, looking for love, wanting to be loved, the love of the Father, and being sat down and allowing and doing natural work and spiritual work and boundaries and confronting those lies and allowing yourself to feel the pain of the no's and the disappointments. And talk to me about now who you are, who you're becoming, because now we've heard your story. And thank you for sharing your story. You're helping so many people out there, because we get disappointment upon disappointment upon disappointment, and we're wrapping up disappointment. And you now get to the place where you're a homeowner, where you're saved, single, and satisfied, where you have a career, where you are holding your own, where you now know your true value. Now you don't have a daddy issue. Talk to the people you have 1 minute. Talk to the people, and this is such a great story. It's not over, but tell us, you are now where and how did you get to this saved, sanctified, satisfied place?
As I continue to read my word and just listen to the word that was being given and taught, and and the bishop, as a father figure, he spoke over me, and my life has changed ever since. It was like he said it happened, and my life just continues to just move. I love God for allowing Him to be a father in my life. Like, I love God for allowing you to be a mother in my life. Like, I love God for allowing CICAN to be a healing space and place. And you get that when you sit, because you can't just get up and run and, like you said, no, sit and soak, dry out. Like, let the word heal you, let the word find you. And you take all of that in. You listen to the word that's being given. You apply it to your life the best way you know how. You ask the questions so that you can become a better person. My life spiritually and naturally looks nothing like it did years ago. Praise God. And God is just so good. He's just so good to me. So I truly value and appreciate the work that you and the bishop has done. I value and appreciate the word. I value and appreciate the family, the atmosphere. And I just truly believe that sometimes just sitting and doing nothing is really what works best. Resting, letting God be God and not trying to put your hands on things and you do it, but letting God do what He said He would do.
That's a great place to pause. That's a sealer. Sometimes we think that being busy means that we're doing our work. We've got to do the hard work. Hard work is hard work. And I continue to watch you do the hard work and the hard work. And I will continue to watch the reward. And I continue to see your stock has increased, your value system have increased. You're not looking for a situation. You understand that God has someone for you. And now that you're being healed and continue in the healing process, you are now ready to receive whomever God chooses, and He's choosing someone for now to come take His place beside you. And you're not going to be a threesome.
Mm-mm.
You're not going to be an addition.
Mm-mm.
But what you're going to be is a helpmeet when the time comes, and you're okay with your soul is satisfied. So, safe space. You heard it first here. India sharing her story. What a powerful story of redemption, of healing. What a powerful story of allowing the Holy Spirit to do the sanctifying work. I don't know about you. You might have had lots of wandering, lots of stops, lots of pause, but there's still hope. And the hope is in Jesus. As long as there is hope, you got a chance. Get up, brush yourself off, get back up, get in the race. The battle is the Lord's. It's not over unless you decide not to run. This is your prophetic purpose pusher, Pastor Denise, with another victorious story about what the church should look like. It's a story of redemption, different journeys, same destination. Christ is our destination. Until the next time, remember, we serve a good, good God who wants to do good, good things in your good, good life.